of television, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Homebuilt Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live, where we're going to hang out for a while and talk about workshop stuff, talk about things I'm working on, talk about what you're working on, Q&A, all the good stuff. As we settle in, I hope all of you are having an awesome day, whether it's morning as it is here, afternoon or evening, whatever it is, wherever you are in this great big world of ours, I hope you're doing awesome. Welcome. As we get situated here, got some hot coffee to kick off the morning, as I usually do, especially this time of year when it's cold and windy and snowy. But welcome to Homebuilt Workshop. I hope you're doing great. Let's jump right in. I want to know what you guys are working on. What's on your workbench, as they say? What kind of questions, comments? How can we help with your project? You may notice behind me, there's not much back here right now. And that's actually a good thing, because that means the acoustic guitar that I've been working on for the last however many months is now inside. It's out of the shop and on the setup bench. The frets are in. The neck is glued in place. The bridge is glued on. It's now final assembly, excuse me, and I'm hoping to get the fretwork done. I got to do some minor fret leveling and polishing. Hopefully this afternoon, maybe tomorrow at the latest, tomorrow morning, I can get some strings on that thing and string it up. Crazy. It's taken quite a while, but we're getting there. Mike's here. Mike says, morning, Jeff and Co. Jeff and Company. Morning, Mike. How are you this fine Wednesday morning? Sam's here. Sam says hello. Good morning, Sam. How are you today? This afternoon, early evening, whatever it is. I think it's afternoon for you. Brian, my hermit life, says, hey, I'm off work today. He says, how are the horses? Well, first, good morning, Brian. Glad you're able to tune in. Got the day off. That's pretty awesome. How are the horses? The horses are doing good, except the one my daughter rides has got something going on with his foot. He's been kind of out of commission for a couple of weeks, but he seems to be getting better. Hopefully we've put some different shoes and stuff on him, and I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he gets healed up the rest of the way and she can be back to riding here shortly. Jakir is here, says, I'm from Bangladesh, very helpful, right on. Welcome, and thank you. Welcome from Bangladesh, that's awesome. Sam says, good, thank you. Right on, Sam. Dastardly Dave, sup all? What's up, Dave? How are things going down in your neck of the woods? Cheers, everyone. If you can cheers with coffee, I don't see why not, right? Anyway, what are you guys all working on? What kind of projects? What's on the bench? Anything in the works? I have an acoustic guitar on my bench, but not this bench. It's in the house. It's getting final assembly. Got fretwork I'm working on right now. It's getting mighty close. Maybe today, tomorrow at the earliest, or at the latest, I think. It'll be strung up, at least initially. And yeah, it's we're that close. That close. And Donna's here. Donna says, good morning. Coffee up. Right on, Donna. Especially here. It's cold here. Cold and windy. I don't know, they're talking snow or something maybe later. I'm not really sure. Yep, it's that time of year where it's going to be cold and snowy and anyway, Tony's here. Tony says, morning, sunshine. Morning, Tony. Tony, I got your stickers. Thank you so much. I'm going to get you some sent out as well. Finally made it to the post office a couple days ago, and bam, there they were, right on. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys have stickers for your shop or for your business or whatever, I welcome stickers. You can find a mailing address in the description for any of the videos. It doesn't have to be this one, but any of them. Click the description. There's a P.O. box down there. If you want to send stickers over, I will stick them on the toolboxes, and I'll send you out some as well. Kind of a sticker swap thing. You remember that? Like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, that was like all the rage, sticker swap. Well, I'll still do it. I do like stickers to put on the toolboxes and in the tools and stuff like that. Everything's loaded up with stickers. Sam says it'd be cool to watch the stream in higher res one day. It's 720 at the moment, but perhaps in 4K one day. That would be awesome. Yes, it would be awesome, Sam. I agree with you 100%. I am merely limited to the internet speeds that I can get in this area, and we just don't have fast internet. I think the internet that comes into my house is like 15 megabits or 15 to 20, something like that, which is not very fast, really. I mean, it works for what I need it for, sort of, but it's yeah. It's not great. Let's just leave it at that. But it's the best I can get at the moment without going to Starlink, which I've been considering trying that Starlink. It's kind of an expensive buy-in, like $500 or something like that. But it might be worth it, and we've been talking about it around here, so I don't know. I think if we got that, we probably could. We probably could stream in 4K. Dastardly Dave says, just on the backside of being sick, and we lost power and internet this morning. Generator and phone internet is earning its keep. Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're getting over being sick. That's never good. And yeah, did you have like some storms or something? Lost power, or is it just one of those things? When I lived in Pennsylvania, it was fairly common, that you would lose power, especially when there was some sort of a storm. It didn't even have to be like anything super severe, just a thunderstorm or something, because a lot of the power lines are overhead, and there's a lot of trees there, so there's always tree branches. Even you could lose it even without a storm. A dead branch breaks and falls on a line, and we'd lose power. Out here, it's not quite as big an issue. Actually, it's nowhere near as big an issue, because I think honestly because we don't have all that many trees, at least in my area. So even when you get storms or wind like we're getting now, and like we had Sunday night, we had ridiculous winds, like 60-mile-an-hour gusts or something like that. There's no trees to blow over, so it doesn't take the lines down. Brian says sticker swap. Yeah, you want to shoot over some stickers? Check out that P.O. box down there, and as soon as I get them, make sure there's a return address I can clearly read, and I'll throw some in an envelope and send them back to you. So I got some that I get ready to go out to Tony, but if anybody else wants to, by all means, I'll send you some stickers. Dave says, I'll get with you after the live and send some Dangerous Brothers stickers. Yeah, send them over, man. Right on. Sam said, once I've cleared the garage, I will look into sending you that jewelry box with the UK chocolate. The garage needs sudden attention with under a couple of weeks time allowance. Right on, Sam. Have fun with the garage clean out. Maybe you'll find some cool stuff in there that you forgot about. It's always fun when you're cleaning out things. I mean, it's a big task, but I seem to always find stuff that I kind of forgot about. Dave says, slushy snow and winds were yesterday. Today we started out with wind, definitely weather related. Right on. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got it covered with the generator and stuff. And again, glad you're feeling better. Sam says you don't have many trees because they're being cut down to make homes and stuff. Well, mainly because not so much in this area. It's just not a tree. It's not a forested area. It's I guess what they call high plains kind of thing. And you know, I guess it would be kind of like if you ever remember learning about the pioneers and all that. I don't know if you guys learn about that over there, but you know, in school here we learn about the pioneers back in the day, Oregon Trail and all that stuff. You know, how they moved west and, you know, settled the western country, and you envision them, you know, going across the prairies and all that. This is the prairies that that they went across, getting to, you know, on their way to the west coast, gold rush kind of thing. And yeah, that's basically what this is. I think most of the trees that are here were planted at some point. It's just not a forest, not a not a treed area. Sam said, don't forget to like. It's free. Yes, thank you, Sam. It is free. Hit that thumbs up button. Tell the YouTubes that this is like the coolest lives ever, and this is the place to be on a Wednesday morning. And KK's here. KK says, happy 2024. Greetings from Greece, brothers. May all of you be well, Jeff. I wish the best for you, your family. My good friend, with kind regards, Costas K. Right on, my friend. How's it going? Happy 2024. Another year is ahead of us. It's pretty awesome. How's everybody in Greece? I hope you're doing well. Glad you could tune in. Right on. Jakir says guitar noise problems. So you're trying to figure out some noise issues. Give us a little more details if you can, and we'll try to figure it out. If that's what you're working on, I've already got some ideas. Sure, we're on the same page. Backwoods Boy, Small Engine says hello, Homeboat Work. In the chat. Right on, Backwoods Boy. Welcome. Good morning. How are you doing today? Right on. We are doing well. Thank you. How are you? Okay, trying again. Do we have sound? I've unplugged the mic. I don't know what's going on. Again, I still think it's that darn cable. It doesn't fit the iPad very well. We're good? We're using the mic, the built-in mic now. I'm not using this little guy. So give me a thumbs up if we're okay. Hit that thumbs up button if you can hear me all right. That was weird. We'll just shut everything off here. Okay. Sorry about that. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. Donna said, any thought of showing and selling your guitars at a guitar shop? Yes. I have had several guitars in a few different shops in the area. Right now, I don't have any in the shops. It just didn't seem to work out like we were hoping. We had a bunch of local builders kind of get together and have a whole section in a guitar shop. But I will be. I am planning on doing some more shows. Well, at least one anyway. We have the guitar show coming up in Denver at the end of March. I think it's like the 24th or something like that. I am right now planning to be at that. I've not registered yet, but I'm making arrangements, making plans, trying to get everything in order for that. But I would like to get some back in some of the local shops. The problem, or one of the challenges, are that one of our main local music stores here closed down a year ago, and that was one where I've known the shop owner for, I don't know, 20 plus years. So we had a really good relationship, and he was real supportive. Now that place is closed down. There's a few other local shops, but it seems to me like it's getting a little bit harder to get in to the shops like that. You got the bigger shops, like Guitar Center, and we've got another local, more sort of a local shop, but it's a lot larger, and they don't seem to cater as well to the smaller builders. They want to sell your normal Fenders and Gibsons and that sort of thing. All right, everybody's saying it's okay. It's okay. Darcy, the ADHD maker, says, morning. Morning, Darcy. How are you today? Backwoods Boy says, I'm doing good. Just staying warm. It's cold and snowing. We had a snowstorm yesterday. We had some on Sunday night. We had, I don't know, probably a couple inches, but it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. It was just about blizzard conditions, and I guess some areas, I think north of us, got it way worse than we did. But we had school was closed on Monday, and yeah. Mike says Sam is so sensitive. Sam says, I'm not so sensitive. My volume was up. He's just messing with you, Sam. It's all good. Paul said, sorry I'm late. Work things. Hello, all. Good morning, Paul. Work things. Always getting in the way of the fun stuff. See how that is? It's just not right. Darcy says, they sell what will sell. Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't blame them. Small builders, doing one-off builds, don't have the necessarily the name recognition, and I understand it. I just wish there was a way that they could work with some of the smaller brands, the smaller builders. But yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I'm not mad at them for it. It's it's corporate America, really. Paul says, I try to avoid Guitar Center unless there's a need for an emergency part and can't wait for Amazon to deliver. Yes, I agree with you. I can't tell you the last time I went in a Guitar Center. Darcy says, cold and snowy here in Alberta. Yeah, Donna. Nah, I think everybody's good. Now, Paul says it's going to be 6 degrees and snowing on Monday. Snowing. Oh, next Monday. Yeah, and 8 on Tuesday. Going to be a cool ride into work. You have to put the snow tires on the bike. You know, back in the day, I had buddies, you know, who were avid dirt bike riders, and they would put, you know, the studs and snow screws in their tires and go out and race on the, you know, on the pond, and, you know, just go trail riding in, you know, a foot of snow. So they work pretty good. Sam says, I found my 14,000 lumen LED floodlight in the garage. Hey, that's a good find. Darcy says, I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Gotta fly. Cheers all. Right on, Darcy. Well, stay warm. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you could stop and say hi for a few. Hope you have an awesome day. So I wanna show you guys, in case you only saw it in the video, the finished knives. I know I've kind of been giving you sneak peeks along the way. I got a surprise a week ago after our live last week. Our farrier stopped by to help out with some issues that the horse my daughter rides has been having, and he said, "Hey, I brought my forge. You want to use it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we cooked these things, and I was able to spend the next day or so getting these things finished up. That's why you got to see it in the video last week. I think this thing is cool. The hardest part was sharpening it, and I'm gonna do a quick demo, probably a short when we're done, because a few of you have asked how it would work for leather, and I think that's something I should have tested in the video, and I didn't. I didn't even think about it, but I think I've already tried it. These cut leather pretty good, so I'm gonna probably just do a quick demo afterwards. But yeah, got these done. So I was planning to work on the acoustic last week, but once they stopped by with the forge and I got these things hardened, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna finish them up. So had to set the acoustic aside once again for like 2 days, and yeah, I got these done. They are pretty sharp. I should have had something to cut. I don't have anything to cut. Anyway, I'm looking for something to cut besides myself. The hardest part, like I said in the video, was this sharpening. I did not anticipate it being quite that challenging. I just didn't think ahead. I was planning on using one of my knife sharpening jigs, but they're made to grip here, like onto the blade, and the arm that holds the blade wouldn't make it past there. So as soon as I got that out, I'm like, well, that's not gonna work. So it was by hand, like you saw in the video, and it took quite a while. I probably spent 4 or 5 hours between the two of them trying to get them sharp. But yeah, these things turned out really cool. So this is the one with the walnut and the maple, little veneer strip there. And then I've got this other one, which is just rosewood with the mosaic pin. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. Sort of. You can kind of see like the mosaic pins in there. Really happy with these. I need to probably, if I make more of them, I need to redesign this sheath a little bit. It's not great, but it does protect the blade. When you go to grab it, I've got this little flap here. I would need to probably curve that down because it kind of hits your hand. But overall, for an experiment, super stoked with how these turned out. Paul says, love the attention my guitars bring when I take them into Guitar Center. People love different looking guitars. Made a few sales that way. Right on. Yeah, I have taken a couple into one of our larger sort of local places, and they're like, oh wow, where did you get that? I've never heard of that. And then you tell them you made it, and they're like, whoa, really? It pretty cool. Dave says you should sell those horseshoe knives. I think they're cool. Well, thanks, Dave. Several people have said that, and I might investigate that a little bit more, because I do think they're cool. And even our local farrier, said, he's like, I've seen a lot of things made out of horseshoes, but he said, I have never seen one quite like that, which I thought was kind of cool. So yeah, but these were, just an experimental thing, just to see if it would work. Um, Knowing now that it will, I might make some more. I think it would be kind of cool, just do a little batch. I probably would not start off with a used shoe though. These were used, so they were formed in certain shapes a little bit. So there's like this front edge is kind of worn down because that's the front edge where the a lot of the wear happens. And it did make it a little bit tricky when I was gluing the scales on there. I think maybe if I just bought some brand new ones that I knew were already flat, might be a better starting point. And I don't think I would try welding those holes. I think I would do another batch where I just left these, there's nail holes here where they get nailed onto the foot. I think I would leave those open. My thought was that they might interfere with the blade grinding, but after having these together, I don't think it will. So I might try some more because I did enjoy doing this. The hardest part was getting them hardened. So I think I need to get a forge. I think in order to really make that work well. But we'll see. Who knows? Paul says, "Cool knife, one for each hand. Shall dub it the Homebuilt Workshop technique for knife fighting." Yeah, it's Let me get the other one. It would be quite the thing. I mean, that's not what these are intended for, but still, Yeah, and honestly, I didn't intend to have two completed ones. I wanted to have two. That way, if I screwed one up, I could still finish the project. But they both turned out, so now there's two. Brian says, I had a box of blemish horseshoes and threw them away after kicking them around for 3 years. I've got quite a few. I've got them all over the place. Sorry, my arm's in the way. These are, just some regular ones here. These are just steel, regular steel. And while I've seen people make knives and stuff out of regular steel shoes, I think these over time will prove to be better because they're a high carbon steel. Now, the exact content or makeup of the steel, I have no idea. but I'm told that it's high carbon steel, so should produce a little bit better blade. It is my understanding that you can take a regular steel shoe and harden it. I just don't know the strength-wise compared to a high carbon steel like these. I'm not a metallurgist, and I don't even pretend to be one. But yeah, I think horseshoes, Brian, are cool to have around. I mean, there's lots of projects you can do, even just welding them up to make different things. I've taken some and cut them in half and welded them on the front of one to make like coat hooks and stuff like that, and all sorts of different projects you can do. I just think they're fun to work with. I mean, they're easily weldable, and I've seen some really neat stuff made out of them. Let's see. Sam says, word of caution, everyone who's in workshops or garages, keep the digit nails short. A nail bent backwards hurts like heck. Yes, it does. Except mine are never long enough to do that, so. But I know what you're saying. Paul says, but they make you know you're alive. Sam says, we'd be making leather pouches for them. Other than this thing, I mean, I don't know. I gotta be careful putting that in there because I don't want to slip and cut myself. Right now, this was just version 1, just to protect the blade. I thought about coming up with some sort of like a belt pouch. You could wear it on your belt, change the design a little bit and put some belt loops on there. It's not practical for that, but it'd be kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know. Right now, I'm just gonna stick with this little sheath, mainly just to protect the blade. But you know, there is some play in there, so I got to do a little work. Everything's an experiment, right? You got to try it and find out. At least I do, anyway. You got to try something and see what works, what doesn't work, and change and modify. And Sam says, "How much would shipping be to the UK?" I don't know, Sam. I'd have to get an estimate. I'd have to package something up and take it to the post office. Mike said, "Need to reduce the sharpening time to make it more profitable." Yes, I agree. Um, and I thought about doing it on, at least some of it on the belt grinder, but I got to practice with that a little bit. Maybe on some of these other shoes. Um, it, I've seen people sharpen very nicely on the belt grinder, but this isn't a straight blade, and it's not super easy. So yeah, that is one thing that I need to work on, if I do intend to make more, which I might just do that. But yeah, sharpening, change the pouch a little bit, or the sheath. Everything else, I mean, I'm happy with the way it turned out. But who knows? We'll see. Sam says, "Worn shoes equal character." Yes, I 100% agree with you. And I do kind of like that it's used. I just had to do a little bit of extra work. I was gonna say a bunch, but I guess it wasn't a bunch of extra work. I did have to do some extra work to try to make sure things are flat, because these are hammered out to fit different shapes and contours of whatever horse they're going on. So I don't know. It's all an experiment. That's how I look at pretty much everything, really. Dave says, "I thought the same thing about leaving the holes. Welding adds a different metal to the shoe." Yes, I agree with that. And really, my worry was, my thought was anyway, at the time, you can kind of see where these holes were. I wasn't exactly sure where my blade was going to land. I didn't think that I was going to grind it all the way down there, and I just thought, well, I'll weld them up. That way it doesn't matter. But I didn't. I really think I don't think I cleaned those well enough to get a good weld. But after looking at it, I think it would be just fine to leave. This one's the closest to the edge of the blade, but I still don't think I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Mike says, "Nicely done." Thank you, Mike. Harry Dude, what's up? Says, "Hello, everyone." What's up, Harry Dude? What's going on? How's everybody in Australia? Paul said, "You should now contact Vivor to get on their fill your shop with tools list." They make a furnace. I've seen that on there. Harry Dude says, "I bought the two burner forge from Vivor. We'll get set up this weekend." Yes, I will be anxious to hear how that goes, how that works. As far as the forge, what I've been doing right now, we have a local blacksmith and farrier supply shop. I just call them every few days and ask them if they've got any used ones in. Talking with our farrier, he says they get used ones in, and they usually go really fast. So I'm trying to catch it when something's been brought in. A lot of times you have to reline it with that cement stuff, but I'm not too worried about that. That'd be a fun little project. So hopefully I can find a small one that needs some work done to it, and then there's a video right there, and we'll have a forge. So Harry Dude, I'm anxious to hear how that one works out. There's Robert. Robert's here. Says, "Hello, everyone." What's going on, Robert? Corey says there's several different grades of high carbon horseshoes. I'm sure there are. I'm not, like I say, I don't know. I have no idea what grade this is. My farrier just said it's high carbon steel. So But yeah, that's interesting. I might have to do a little research on that. If you know like brands or styles or something or what's what, let me know because I'm curious on that. Robert said, winter finally arrived yesterday. Had temperatures starting at around 7 a.m. was 26 degrees with wind chill of -8 and had light snow on the ground. Right on. Sounds like similar weather that we've had the last day or two. I think there's probably a winter storm. Actually, you know what? Yeah, you're getting what we had 2 days ago. Right now, yesterday was really nice, so you probably got a nice day coming up, and then today's not quite so cold. I think it's 25 or 6 or something out, but the wind has picked up again. So, heads up, it's coming your way. Robert said, "Yeah, those knives turned out pretty nice." Thank you, Robert. Sam says, "Is Liberty traffic signals still operating over there? I got a circuit board from them a few years back and trying to get more of them, but they don't use eBay anymore." I don't know, Sam. I really don't. Is that the main company that makes a lot of the signals? I'm not sure. You guys know? I'm opening up to the group. I have no information on that. Liberty traffic signals. If you do, see if we can help Sam out. There's Sam, and Sam coming in with the super chat. Right on, Sam. Sam says, "For coffee, keep warm, legend." Thank you, Sam. Much appreciated. Right on, Sam. Got to keep this here coffee mug filled. Thank you. Robert said the temperature is supposed to get up around 52 today. Well, maybe that's the nice weather we had yesterday. We didn't get to 52; it was like 35, but right on. So yeah, so if you guys weren't here earlier when I was talking about it, the acoustic guitar is nowhere to be seen. It is not in the shop. It is in the house on my setup bench. I have a setup bench inside the house. Well, one because it would get covered in dust out here, so I carved out a tiny little corner. Got a little bench there with all my setup stuff. The acoustic is on the setup bench. It's got frets. It's got the neck glued on. It's got the bridge glued on. Now I've got to do a light fret level, redress the frets, and assemble it. I got to finish reaming the peg holes and finish shaping, rounding over the top of the saddle. I've got the saddle roughed out. I've got the nut, well, almost rough to size. I still got to do shaping on that. So still a fair bit of work, but nowhere near the amount of work than compared to 6 months ago or whenever it was I started that. I need to go back and look. So hopefully I'm shooting for that being the video coming out this weekend. That's the plan. So fingers crossed. We're this close. I did have some trouble fretting. I think we talked. Oh, I took it inside. Remember we were talking about fretting using that F-style clamp press thing from StuMac? Not a sponsor. I've only used it on the first acoustic guitar, but I wanted to give it a fair chance and try that process again on this guitar. I've decided that I think, unless someone can seriously convince me otherwise, I am not going to install frets that way ever again. I totally get the fact that you can level the fretboard on the guitar, and I can appreciate that, but what a hassle that is, trying to press the frets in using that thing. It's the most awkward thing I think I've ever used. I'm not knocking the tool necessarily. I mean it does what it sort of does what it says it should do. Probably user error, but yeah, I've decided I do not like that whatsoever. And I think I will be radiusing and fretting my fretboards before I glue the fretboard on. At least for the next build. But anyway, I got it done. Only had to pull one back out because it didn't seat correctly. It was right at that spot where I can't quite reach it through the sound hole with that clamp, and I can't quite reach it from the heel of the neck in. So it was like very awkward, and it didn't seat right, and I couldn't get it. I hammered it and put a bunch of dents in it. Ended up pulling it back out and reseating another one this morning. I think it's going to be just fine. I hate pulling frets out, but yeah, I believe that's behind us. Donna says, great idea, Sam. Yeah, right on. Corey says, if you watched Forge and Fire, they make knives from scratch. They test them to see how good the knife blades are. Something to think about to watch. Yes, I've seen a few episodes, not a ton, because I don't know, I just haven't. But I've watched a handful of them. Mainly the ones where here local. If you watch Forge and Fire at all, really more than a few episodes, you've probably seen some of the episodes where we've had some local people. Excuse me. Here local to me, we have a kind of a blacksmith school called Kilroy's Workshop, and the owner Ron has been on Forged and Fire, I think twice, as well as some of the students and people that used to work there. There's been several people on the show, and I've watched those episodes, and it's actually really cool to be able to see someone that you've met before on there. So yeah, if you ever check out, if you're ever going back and watching them, look for I don't even know what episode it is, but look for one with Ron Hardman from Kilroy's Workshop. He's been on there from Colorado Springs, and super cool. I think he won it, the one he was on, I think. But yeah, it's a super cool show. And really, one of the things that I would like to do at some point is take a class down there. They offer all kinds of classes for making different things, and just general intro to blacksmithing and bladesmithing and all this stuff. I'd like to take a class or two down there sometime. I think it'd be pretty awesome. Harry Dude says, love watching Forge and Fire. That's what inspired me and a mate to buy the Forge. Yeah, Harry Dude, I want to see some knives. Robert says, speaking of coffee, has anyone else tried Folger's Black Silk? I like it a lot. It's a dark roast, but smooth and tastes really good. I've not tried that, Robert. I don't, usually, I don't do like fancy coffees. I'm not saying that that's a fancy coffee, but the one that I usually do is just a regular Maxwell House. I used to use their original blend because I can get the big giant cans of it. But I have used several of the different ones that they make. I might have to try that silk, black silk. Paul says, a friend got me spoiled a couple years ago. I only drink the Kopi Luwak coffee. Probably said that wrong. Gotta love the Weasel coffee. I don't know what the Kopi Luwak is, but it sounds fancy. Yeah, I just do the regular stuff. The regular big name brand stuff. Like I said, mainly because I can get a big can of it. Whoops, forgot to turn that down. And yeah. A Weasel coffee. Neptunes is here. Neptunes, what's up? Neptune says, hello, everyone. I made it. Just got out of grand jury service. Ooh, fun. I had that a year ago. I don't remember if it was January. It might have been February. I don't know. But I had jury duty, and yeah. Sam says, did you know that U.S. bread has chemicals that yoga mats are made from? Plus, other foods have color numbers in them, such as U.S. Skittles. Yes, the blue 42 and the red 57. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, I know. Harry Dude says, our first mission with the forge is to do the ceramic coating and start forging tools like tongs and punches. Yes, tongs. That was one thing that I was slightly lacking when I did the heat treat on these. I didn't have quite the great set of tongs, so I just had to use, whatever stuff that the farrier had with them. But it worked out okay. I'm excited for you, Harry Dude, because that just sounds like fun. It's just, I don't know, something that I want to try. I want to try it. Sam says, the Neptunes, hello! Paul says, Kopi Luwak is coffee that roasted from beans that are harvested after they pass through the civet. Oh, I've heard of that. I have heard of that. Something in the process makes the coffee smooth and less acidic. Yes, I have heard of that. I'm not familiar with the name, but I know what you're talking about. Neptune says, don't get me started on chemicals in food. Neptunes, it's okay. It's all good. Oh boy. It's all good, everyone. I like some yellow 17 once in a while. Sam says, perhaps sell channel merch. I got a few things up there. I've been working on revamping a few things too, and may get some new stuff released. But yeah, that's a good idea. Good idea. I do not disagree. Harry Dude. So the Kopi Luwak coffee is both good and bad at the same time? See what I did there? Robert says, if anyone wants to just try the black silk coffee, they offer maybe a 1 pound can, so you don't like it, you won't have a large amount to go through. Well, yeah, I might have to try that. Paul says, yes, to Harry Dude. And unfortunately expensive. I can imagine. Yeah, I don't know where I saw that, Paul, but it's been a while. But I do remember now that you mentioned that. I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a video. Well, I think it was actually. I don't remember. But yeah, I've heard of that. I'll stick with my giant can of big name coffee. Sam says, I can send you some mega strong coffee called Rocket Fuel. Like 3 Red Bull cans in one hit. Oh, I'd have a heart attack. I'd try it, though. Sam's trying to take me out. Who would take over the lives? I think I've heard of that, though. Rocket Fuel coffee or something. Robert said they mentioned that in the movie Bucket List. The coffee? I don't know where I heard about it. That's hitting the spot this morning, though. Oh, I don't know if I've seen that movie. I can't recall it. I've seen a lot of movies. Most of the time, I can't even recall if I've seen them. I haven't, not so much now, but I used to watch quite a few. Yeah, so around here, I'm glad I got these knives done. Hoping to finish up the acoustic today or tomorrow. And then I'm going to make that, I'm going to do that sharpening stone. Remember I talked about that? I discovered in trying to sharpen these that thing really needs some attention. So that'll be the project after the acoustic. And yeah, that's the plan. And then we'll jump into another guitar. Bum, bum, bum. I got to get something new built for the guitar show in March. So after I check a couple things off the list, then I got to jump on this new build. Sam says you will like UK Cadbury's chocolate. Is it different than US Cadbury chocolate? See, that's the kind of thing that it seems it's interesting to me. That they make it one way here, and then in somewhere else they make it totally different, but it's still the technically the same thing. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Oh, Corey says, that's why this year I'm definitely going to get an offset smoker and charcoal barbecue where I can make my own homemade smoked meat. Yes. Corey, we're all going to come over for a barbecue. Yeah, that's awesome. An offset smoker. I've seen even a lot of people now using these electric smokers, at least out here, and yeah, it's kind of wild. I I have one. It's an old, fairly old, just an upright smoker propane. It is not. It's not great. Like the sides aren't even insulated. It's just like tin. So in the wintertime, forget it. You can't get it hot enough to do anything. The summertime, or when it's not cold or windy, it works fine. But yeah, I would love to get a new one at some point because everything tastes so good out of there. Man, it's some brisket, some ribs, anything. Sam says, I wonder if it's the same as the Aussie Cadbury's. I don't know. Sam said, U.S. chocolate tastes like vomit to the Brits. It's a process they use over there. So I'm not a fan of all of it, but like the Hershey's, I like some good old Hershey's chocolate. I don't know if it's different over there. I hope not, because it tastes good here. Sam says smoking's bad for you. Yeah. Not smoking meat in a smoker. Robert said, I think the bucket list had Jack Nicklaus and Morgan Freeman in it. Yeah, it's not ringing a bell. I might have seen it, though. I don't know. Neptune says, LOL. My mom calls Hershey's chocolate a soap bar. Man, tough crowd. Hershey's is my favorite, and I'll stand by that. Of course, they're from Pennsylvania, and I grew up in Pennsylvania, so there is that. And Sam says Hershey's is bitter. Really? Now I got to try some other stuff to see. Mike says, need the jet. Love what you do. Right on, Mike. Well, Mike, sorry you have to tune out so early. But glad you could stop by. Hope you have an awesome day. Hope you get a chance to go build something or fix something or make something. Have a good one, Mike. Right on. Alrighty. Yeah, we still got some time. But I got a little bit of cleaning up out here to do. I think I'll do that real quick when we're done. And then just because it's sort of warm out here, and then I'm going to get inside and get to working on the acoustic. We're not leaving just yet, though. We still got some time, so don't feel like you have to leave just yet. Mike says, fixing things all the time. Me too. Me too. And Mike says, take care. You take care, Mike, as well. Have an awesome day. Sam says, do you chill the beer in the pond? Right now, you keep your ice cream cold in there. No, I never have. I've never really put anything in there. But you totally could. It would work just fine. Yeah, our pond is frozen over right now, so now's the time to stock up the ice house, if I had an ice house. It's nice and frozen. Have to get the canoe paddle out and skate the raft around out there or something. No, I wish we could go out there, and I felt comfortable being out there on the pond, but our weather here doesn't stay cold enough for a long enough period of time where I feel safe being way out on the ice. Growing up, we used to do that. We used to have parties, like skating parties and, do lots of things out on the ice on the ponds and stuff. But here, I don't think it gets cold enough. We'll go around the outside edge, but I'd like to go out and really, I haven't ice skated in 100 years. I'd probably hurt myself pretty bad, but Sam says frozen fish. Yeah, there's there's fish in there for sure. Neptune says, Jeff, you have the right to like whatever you want, even though there's better available. Thank you, Neptunes. Yeah, I like what I like, even though there's better. Let's stick with my Hershey's. Sam says the Russians love ice cold water in ponds and lakes. Well, they're nuts though. Oh yeah, like the cold polar bear plunges and stuff. Yeah, I don't know about that. Harry Dude says the weather here is screwy at the moment. Flooding in 2 states on the East Coast. Wow. I have seen. Where did I see that now? I think it might have been last year. Let's see. So Harry Dude, you're in the beginning of summer, basically, earlier parts of summer. Is that when you typically get your rains, or is that more like springtime? I remember watching some sort of documentary, and I believe it was on the road trains that run around Australia, and they had a bunch of flooding, and I remember seeing like aerial stuff of a lot of flooding. No, this wasn't now. This was, I don't know, maybe a year ago, or I don't remember when the thing was. But then in the last year or two, some bad flooding. I just can't remember if it was this time of year. I hope you don't have to get flooded out, and I hope the flooding is out in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully everybody's okay with the flooding. Anyway, let's just leave it at that. Tony says, how many of you rush to get Christmas orders out and now you don't have much to do? I want to get the shop clean. Tony, I'm with you on that. I didn't have a maybe as big of a rush to get stuff done for Christmas. But I am, I have been working on the acoustic, not nonstop, but for quite some time. That's coming to an end. I had these guys that I've been working on, or that I started weeks ago, finally got those done. I've got one little project that I want to knock out before starting another guitar project. I'm kind of at that spot you're at, I think, to where I'm finally wrapping up some things that have been here for a while, and I need to do a little bit of cleaning up, get some things put away. Not quite spring cleaning, because it's definitely not spring, but kind of getting that year started, just getting things cleaned up as I'm looking around. It's not horrible, but there's definitely some things that I can do, some things that I can probably get rid of, some things that need to be put away, rearranged. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's still plenty of things. I still have plenty of projects to do, but every once in a while you got to stop. And I've ended up with boards stacked. I've, kind of in front of me. You can't see them, of course, but I've got boards stacked there. Well, they're sort of in front of the door, so I kind of get to where, I'm tripping on them when I walk in. And, I've just got a lot of materials and supplies that I just need to take, I don't know, a couple hours at least, and just clean things out. Empty all the shop vacs, empty the dust collector, all that sort of stuff. That's got to happen here before too long. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Tony. Robert says, I've tried some different chocolates from different parts of the world, and frankly, there's little difference between them. But I do feel that maybe the chocolate from the Swiss is a little better. Sam says, plenty of flooding in the UK at the moment. Oh man, Sam, I don't want to hear of all this flooding. Hope everybody is safe. Robert says, most milk chocolate, in my opinion, is mostly way too sweet. Fair enough. Tony says, cleaned up, but just can't get motivated. I'm trying to think of some sort of a wise thing to say. I don't know, Tony. Sometimes, I believe that I tend to get those same sort of feelings, right? So when you're at certain times, maybe at the end of a project, or um, there's been times where I'll tend to feel like, oh man, you know what, I gotta get this, I gotta start something new, and what am I gonna start? And really, I, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I know what you're saying. And sometimes I believe I've learned that it's okay. Sometimes we can't all be 100%, 100% of the time. As much as I feel that I'm wired that way, right? Like I always need to be doing something, working on something, accomplishing something. And that can be a challenge. I hope I'm on the right track. I think I am, but that can be a challenge for those of us that are kind of like that, right? But once in a while, it's okay. It's all right to just be able to kind of mentally reset. And then I find once I acknowledge that, it seems like, then a project pops up and I'm back off and running. So it's okay. Those are the times where I will come out and I'll just do some cleaning, and I'll as I'm putting things away or I'm moving stuff around, even if I'm feeling like that motivation thing, a lot of times just coming out here doing something, maybe I'm not trying to be super productive, but I'm going to move this stack of wood. I'll find a piece in there, and I'm like, oh, this looks, this could work for the thing, and then I'm off, off and running with whatever the project is. But I'm with you, and I think we all are at that spot sometimes. So I would just say, don't let it get you down. And maybe I've misinterpreted the whole thing, but I'm with you, Tony. And the inspiration will come back up, and you'll be back at it in no time. Paul says, "Kay, gotta go. Have a great week, Jeff. Let me know if you want to expand your coffee tastes." I'm always up for expanding pretty much any tastes. I'm not against trying anything. Heritage says, tropical areas in the northern states get the rain in the summer. I'm in Victoria, southern state. We usually get our rain in the winter, but got floods this summer. Aha. So maybe it was. Let's see. So in the summer, so northern areas get the rain in the summer. I can't remember where this documentary was. It was, it's one of those road train deals where they're going, all the way from south to north, kind of thing. I don't remember. Those road trains are pretty impressive, really. Sam says, do you think you may visit the UK one day? It's not a 3-day thing like Americans think. I would like to. Honestly, Sam, I think it'd be cool. My family, I have ancestors way back who came from England. And I think it'd be kind of cool to try to, I don't know, just to see some of the area. I would like to. I'd like to visit there. There's several places I would like to visit. I don't know if I'll ever get there or not, but that's one that I would like to check out. I need some real fish and chips. Harry Dude says to Tony, I reopen the shop next week. Already got orders coming in, but yes, got to clean up after the holiday projects. Henry says, missed it again. Hope you guys are having a great week. Henry, what's going on? Good morning. Yeah, we're about to wrap it up, but you didn't totally miss it. What are you up to these days, Henry? Hope things are going good. Sam says to Henry, but I get phone alarm reminders. Yeah, he's got it in the phone. It's a good idea, actually. Robert says to Tony, you might want to think of something to do that you normally don't do to get yourself out of the box. Robert, that's a great idea. Something different. Just to gets your brain kind of to think outside the box. It's a good idea. Neptune says, I like most chocolate except the really cheap Easter chocolate. I prefer dark, though. I do like some dark chocolate. And yes, the cheap Easter chocolate is just, I won't eat it. Yeah, some of that stuff just is, it's bad. Sam says, need a Men at Work sign on the wall. Robert said to Paul, have a good one. Right on. Neptune says, Men at Work was a good band. I kind of remember them, sort of. I know there's a song, I can't remember the name of the song that I know of theirs, but I'd have to look it up. I was a wee lad. Well, I remember them. A hair dude says to Neptunes, I didn't know Men at Work were popular outside Australia. Really? Are they from Australia? Yeah, I remember them from like back in the 80s. I remember the my dad's garage. I mentioned before he runs the auto body, or he used to do more auto body. And this was like the 80s, mid 80s or so, 84 or 5. I was like, I don't know, small. But I remember they had their, the shop radio, and they had some cassettes there, and one was a Men at Work, and I used to put it in sometimes and like turn it way up. Sam says the UK consists of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. England isn't the whole country. No, I know. I guess I probably just said that wrong. But yes, I would like to get over there and visit. But yeah, I have family on the of English descent. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Henry says, just got a sewing machine from Goodwill. Should be a fun skill to learn. Right on. I have one that I picked up a while back too. And I've used it a few times. It's kind of fun. I use it just enough to where I forget how to thread it every time. So then I got to learn how to rethread the thing, and then I use it for whatever I need it for, and then it gets put away for 2 years, and then dig it back out. I got to relearn how to thread it. And ours is supposed to have an automatic needle threading thing, but I can never get it to work right, so I just have to like do the one-eyed squint and like thread the needle. So yeah, that's awesome, Henry. Good luck with that. Don't stick your finger. Neptune says, Harry Dude, to Harry Dude, they're one of my favorite 80s bands. I have 4 of their albums. Right on. I didn't know they had that many. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream today, Jeff. And Sam, thank you for being part of this awesome stream. Robert said, a few years ago, a friend of mine and his wife and daughter went to England. Their daughter was in the high school band, and they were invited to perform during the New Year that year. Oh, that's cool. Harry Dude says, Men at Work's biggest song was Land Down Under. Not a strand. Oh, yes. Yes. I know the song. Neptune says, beds are burning. Yes. Beds are burning? Land Down Under. I don't know. But yes, you said that. Now now the song's in my head. Beds are burning in midnight oil. Yeah, I remember that too. Neptune says, whoops. Yes, they're still both good. Sam says, if it wasn't for the UK, America wouldn't be what it is today. Well, that's true. Robert said, yeah, I have either 1 or 2 CDs of Men at Work myself, and I enjoy them. Heritage says, I grew up in the 70s and 80s here in Australia. A lot of great bands from that era. I think my favorite, yes, there is a lot of good stuff that came out of the 80s. I think my favorite era for music really was the 90s. Early 2000s as well. But I think the 90s, like that stuff was just classic, and that's the stuff that I grew up on mostly. I was pretty small in the 80s, but I mean I remember a lot of it. But I think for me the 90s. one of my favorites, Harry Dude. I'm sure you've heard of them. Is Silverchair. They're from Australia. I used to love them. I mean, I still really like a lot of their stuff. Neptune says, my old age showing, got the bands mixed up. Yeah, it's fine. Scott says, do you have any ideas for a DIY guitar neck call? I do. I don't have it out here, though. I think I've just taken it inside. Let me check. I don't have it out here. I have stuff like this. This was where it was a bigger block, and I just took a hole saw and sliced it. You got another one that's just slightly radius. I mean, you could do this with a sander. I don't even know maybe what I've done with this. I've got all kinds of little blocks like this that I use for different things, clamping calls and different holders and stuff. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you're talking about are the longer calls with the the radius across there. And I have made some of them using my table saw. There's a process you can use on the table saw called cove cutting. You can cut a cove with a table saw, and it's not as scary as it might seem, but you set up a jig. So normally your table saw blade is this way, and you set up a jig so that you can pass the wood kind of diagonally. You'd have to look it up. If that's what you're looking for, that's the method that I have used to make some calls like that. And it sounds a little bit sketchy, and I suppose it could be, maybe. But you set up a jig, slowly raise your blade, and as you pass it diagonally over your piece, it cuts that. That the little, whatever that's called. My mind is drawing a blank. It cuts that shape in there, and that's a method I have used before. If you're just making shorter ones, like this kind of thing, I mean, you could do that on a bandsaw. Just cut that out, sand it smooth, line it with some felt or some leather, and there's just you can use pretty much any kind of scraps. That's what these are. I mean, you can see there's cracks and stuff in here, but it works fine. For calls, if that's what you're looking for. Again, if not, let me know exactly what it is you're looking for. But check out cove cutting on the table saw. And Sam coming in with another super chat. Man, Sam says towards a new microphone cable. I will get one ordered. Thank you, Sam. Yes, I will order one when we are done. Heritage says my favorite Australian bands from the 80s, AC/DC, Cold Chisel, Icehouse, Noiseworks. I've not heard of Cold Chisel. Neptune says AC/DC's from Australia. I didn't know that. Sam says, dang keyboard needs updating. Huh? Oh, I see. It's all good, Sam. Scott says, can I use a cope saw hand tool? Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to make something like this, just some simple neck rest of some sort, absolutely. Use whatever. I guess I just kind of defaulted to the table saw because that's what I've done before, but yeah, I mean, use whatever you have. If you've got some Forstner bits, and I mean, you could use a brace, right? And just drill a hole, bore a hole in a bigger block, cut the block in half. You could take a smaller block like this and just use a coping saw. Yeah. Use whatever you have. You could use a chisel. Just use a chisel. You could chisel that out. Sand it smooth. Use whatever tools and materials you have available. Just because I would do it one way, and doesn't mean you have to. Use whatever method works for you. Absolutely, go for it. I mean, I was trying to think of something else. Yeah, I mean, whatever you have, make it work. You could do it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Doesn't even have to be any sort of certain radius as far as I'm concerned. You know, you just make a notch in there. If you just need it to hold the neck, just about anything will work. Sometimes I'll just use it rolled. I'll take a towel and just roll the towel up, and I'll use that as my neck rest. It doesn't even have to be a block. But yeah, you could use whatever you have available. Make it work for you. That's the fun thing about what we're doing. We don't all have the same tools and stuff, so. Sam says, new keyboards need updates. Older keyboards didn't require updates. True. Sam says, AC/DC sounds like it's a shocker. Carolina Kayak says, coping saw is great, but I use a band saw. Why is that cut off? Yeah, you can use anything. Bandsaw, coping saw, whatever. Pet beaver, let the beaver chew it away. I mean, use whatever you can make it work. So, yeah, don't ever feel limited to, because you don't feel you have the right tools. Whatever methods you use in your workflow, your workshop, use it. That's kind of the hard part, right? When you watch a lot of shops, a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of people have these giant dream shop kind of setups, with thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in brand new tools. Sometimes they can get kind of discouraging. You're like, I don't have that. I mean, there's lots of tools that I wish I had, and I got a decent collection of tools, but yeah. If you work with hand tools, use hand tools. Figure out how to make it work. You can do it. And Neptune says, you can get someone to 3D print one too. Yes, you can. Harry Dude says, carve it out with a drum sander. Yeah. I might have sanded this with a drum sander. I thought I cut this with a hole saw. But I see sanding marks. I bet you I hole sawed it and then sanded it. Robert says, with the Little River Band from Australia. That I don't know. Sam says, how does America get cold weather with all the hot air blowing? Oh. Yeah. Well, moving right along. Anyway, we are like well past the hour. It's about time to wrap this up. Carolina Kayak says, I have tools that just get in the way. Yeah, once in a while I've got a couple, like my scroll saw, and I keep thinking about do I really need it? Would I rather have that space for something else? And then I find something that I need it for. Harry Dude says, yep, Little River Band was from Australia. There's a place called Little River. Go figure. Anyway, guys, yeah, like I said, we got to wrap this up because I got an acoustic to get to. I want to get that thing done, and I'm hoping that you guys do too, so that I can move on and be done with it. Sam says, thanks again, Jeff, and thank you again, Neptune. Yes, thank you all. Thank you, Neptune, for the moderation duties. Not that there's a lot of moderation that needs done, and that's why I appreciate all of you. Carolina Kayak says, great show. Thanks for going live. Right on, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Sam says, be safe. Harry Dude says, see you next week. Stay well, everyone. Right on, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Taking some time out of your day to hang out here at Homebuilt Workshop. We do it every Wednesday. It's always just an open conversation, just a good time with good friends. And yeah, I look forward to these every time. Double check. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you might miss these lives. So, Robert says, I thought they were from down under. Everyone stay safe and healthy. Have a good one. Heritage says, button time. I know. I don't understand it. I really don't. I know it happens almost every time, and it may seem like I'm just messing, but I'm I'm legitimately not. On my screen, right up here, there's a little X. And you hit that X when you're done. And then it pops up another thing right about here in the middle that says, are you sure you want to end? And you hit yes. And it seems like it should be that simple. We're going to do it again. Right on. guys. Have an awesome week. Get on your shops, make some cool things, fix some cool things, do some cool stuff. I don't care if it's cleaning. Hope you get some time to spend in your shop. Be safe, be well. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time, same place. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Here we go. We're out.